I've played a bunch of games that have deathmatch mode, and my verdict, hell yeah. Adrenaline is what I feel when I'm doing a kill streak in a deathmatch or a wall-to-wall. This is a genre of online games where I sometimes play very well. It's not a Counter-Strike or Valorant with a score of 2 to 15. On the one hand, you might think that deathmatch is a mode for beer playing, but in fact it requires titanic concentration to get that feeling of flow, which can hardly be achieved under beer effect. I'm not gonna make this any longer, so let's start with the good stuff, and that's Splitgate 2, a free arena shooter with portals from Portal, which is already out of beta. Wait, but there is a first part, so I tell you about it first. After seeing the online 220 people, you might think that the game is dead, and in fact it's true. In the peak it was 67,000 people, but the developers were not ready for such a thing, and I don't know, servers failed for a few days, or the developers themselves disabled them. The game lost all its online in the first few days. In fact, the game is very dynamic, similar to Halo, which I never played. The essence is simple: run around the arena, fly on a jetpack, jump through portals and score points by killing enemies. There are places where spawn special weapons. A total of 2 guns can be carried. Automatic rifles, shotgun, rocket launchers, snipers, all stuff here. Well, and the mechanics of portals helps to retreat in a critical situation or conversely bypass the enemy. Even bullets fly through them. Because of the small online was able to play only 3 modes, and in general it is enough. It was a mode team to team with gaining of points, snipers and juggernaut. Juggernaut I did not record, but in a sense it is a chase after one player who first catches up and kills Jagger becomes a Jagger. What about the second part? It's great. I played the beta online in the peak of 12,000 matches are searching faster. They added roll-ups, abilities, made movement even faster, new guns, modes. I by the way just now remembered that almost did not record gameplay and played with tongue out, as I have not played for a long time. So enjoy the gameplay of only 2 modes, capture and hold points and capture points on a giant map like in a battlefield, which is not a very good solution, because you can't restore on your allies and have to run quite a lot. There is also a mode where you need to kill all opponents as quickly as possible so that they do not resurrect. Mode with plenty of fireworks, American football and something else. Abilities allow you to heal, slow down enemies, speed up allies, put a barrier, illuminate enemies through the walls and more. Total of 3 classes. You can use perks and different guns, all opened by grind method, but it's fun. TTK in the game is acceptable. Perhaps I would like to destroy the enemies faster, but it's not critical. In this game I say yes. And now we go back in time through the portal and get into the classic. And this is Half-Life 1 Deathmatch. I have almost never played it before, but the browser version made me very happy. It was very smooth and responsive. Unfortunately, I have no idea how to bunny hop and whether you can even do it here. For a jump manager to jump only with this vacuum cleaner, which by the way one of the most top gun, annihilate enemies very fast. There is no run button here, but the speed of movement of the character is enough not to get bored. I played only one server, where there are always a lot of players and one map. It is quite good, because it is not very large, gun spawns in many places, and there is a bunker with a red button to launch missiles. For interest went to the second server, but there was too big map and I think admins do some shit, otherwise have to explain this pile that stuffed the passage fodder, while the hatch behind me does not open. Arsenal of guns enough. In addition to the classic machine gun, shotgun and other earthly arsenal, there is a futuristic Gauss, this vacuum cleaner, hand hive and so on. From the minuses, some guns pretty weak. TTK is not the most pleasant. In any case, this game I say yes. And the next game is Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. If in the first part of Halva I did not pass the story, in the second I passed it several times. Deathmatch here is a very razzle-dazzle, because all you have to do a couple of steps and you immediately blow up on a grenade, rocket or toilet smash your face. In general, not many players play the game, but like in the first part, there are always a couple of almost completely filled servers. The arsenal here is less diverse, but there is a grave gun, with which I prefer to play. Here you can carry objects and throw them at enemies, which is extremely fun. Just look at the killstreak I met with barrels.
First blood, double kill, triple kill, ultra kill, rampage, killing spree, dominating.
Servers here periodically change the level. Who played games on Source know that it is about changing the map. However, this does not happen too often. If we talk about movement, then everything is not so clear, because we as in part 1 has a suit, which by the way and there and here you can charge. But here, unlike in the first part, we can do a dash, which greatly spends stamina, and in addition we have a limit on the speed movement. So bunny hop here will not work. With standard weapons, kill enemies will have too long. TTK here is now better than the first part, but this does not apply to grave gun. If the object is heavy enough and flies well, the enemy will definitely fly away. Of the minuses is that some maps are quite dark. You can spawn in the textures and wait for death at the hand of enemy or your own grenade. In general, there is nothing more to say. This game I say possible, and mostly because of the grave gun. The next game is Fistful of Frags, and yes, it is again Half-Life, only now in the style of the Wild West. The game is made on the Source engine, but it plays and looks very unique. I initially wanted to do a full review of the game, but I thought nobody interested in this. Online is very low, for the last 6 months did not reach and up to 200 people in the peak. What is the essence of the game? Shoot revolvers, rifles, shotguns on the opponents, but there are no automatic weapons, and yes, it is literally hand showdown but free on Source, and there is even a mod with zombies. And not only zombies, there are a lot of modes, just no one plays them. The first thing I played was a gun game on a server with 5 or 6 people and bots, but I was too bad at it. It's all about the mechanics of accuracy. You want to shoot accurately, be kind enough to stand in a place, and by the way, aiming does not always help. There are perks and choice of starting set, and if you choose an accurately lefty, then aiming reduces accurately, if I'm not confused. You can take guns in 2 hands, change hands, reload the selected hand, kick enemies, jump on enemies, throw dynamite, throw barrels, knock out weapons with knuckles, ride horses. This works pretty strange, but it works. More on the maps, scattered chests with unique guns, which from these chests are bought from money that give for kills. I remember earlier in the game was more online, and you could play in the mode where you need to throw dynamite at each other. In general, the game is very good for playing with friends or at least one friend. It's hard to say about the dynamics and movement. You can bunny hop here, but there is a skill that allows you to do something like a second jump pushing off the wall. The pace of the game is not fast, given the mechanics of shooting. In short, the game is worth a try, but it's not a hurricane deathmatch or arena shooter. If you want a full review on the game, then write in the comments. I say yes to game itself, but I say Deathmatch mode maybe, because it's a little bit slow. And the last game for today is Marvel Rivals. What does it have to do with the Deathmatch and even more so with arena shooter? Well, it has Deathmatch, and do not pay attention to the gameplay. I played all these games in one day, and to be honest, I'm not good at playing in principle, and in a game where everyone has unique abilities that need to be memorized, and moreover you need stand up to them. Of course I play bad, and for some reason it seems to me that I play not in the mode of all against all, and all against one. Very often it happens so that one opponent stuns me and another kill. The only good moment was when I successfully used the Punisher ultimate. There is no point in talking about guns, each character has their own movement is also very different. For example, the Iron Fist after taking a fighting stance being to walk like a shit in his pants, and the Punisher has no normal escape, expect to try to combine smoke and harpoon. In Splitgate after regen, in Fistful of Frags you need to run for whiskey bottles for heal, in Marvel there is no after regen, and the medkits have quite a long cooldown. Such a mode as Deathmatch is very bad in Marvel Rivals, and I do not like the game in general. Game has several problems. Sometimes it's hard to make out what's happening on the screen. Too many effects. Sometimes enemies don't take a damage. Not always clear where you take damage. And the last, the lack of after regen at the characters at which it should supposed to be, which was probably done for the sake of balance. Well, TTK here are huge, with after regen or without it. To kill the enemy you need a time. And you know what? I say no to Marvel Rivals, firmly and clearly. Here is such a list of games. I can always record the second part, because the arena shooter are not few, games with the deathmatch even more. I would have played Quake Champions if game was working on my PC. The game is unfortunately low online, about 400 people, but in fact Quaka is one of the first arena shooter. Here I want to finish and ask you to put a like, subscribe to the channel, write your wonderful comment, and if you like the video you can support me, donate or subscribe to the Boosty, Slavic Patreon. Join Discord, Telegram, listen to my music and come to the streams, which maybe will be soon. Good luck to everyone and goodbye!